Hi everyone, I hope that you guys are alright. So thanks again for watching my videos, for your feedback as well on my previous ones. I hope you enjoyed them. So this week I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I'm going to be looking at effects, and also I was thinking of doing something about mixing and mastering as well. But today I'm going to be talking about autofilter. But although I'm talking about autofilter, part of it is going to be a little bit related to mixing as well. So just you'll see what I mean when I start working with it. So the first thing about autofilter, there's a few things that you can do. Obviously, I've got a beat here, right? A drum and bass beat, and I could just play that for you very quickly. It sounds like that. The first thing about autofilter is, yes, we can filter that beat, and we can add maybe like a different sort of filter type and add loads of resonance. And what we can also do is we can allow the envelope to change the movement of the filter. That basically means that the envelope is going to react to the dynamic range here, and this hit in particular is slightly off. Just going to align it. There you go. So just noticed. I'm quite picky like that, and you have to be picky if you want your music to, to really shine through and stuff. So if I use the filter, you can see that I'm just filtering the sound. Right, and what I can do as well is I can add a little bit of like an envelope movement. And basically the envelope is just the dynamic range. It's basically, the difference between the highest peaks and the lowest peaks, and you can see that they've got this sort of movement within them. So that's basically what the filter is going to be doing. We can also invert it, or we can delay the attack if you wanted to. Right, so that's quite tight, as you can hear. And if you do something which is like extremely short release and do quite a big envelope movement, you can get almost like a pseudo distortion, as you can hear. Obviously it's getting a bit loud, but yeah, you can sort of hear that, and you can change the filter types to see what you come up with. Right, obviously you have to watch out for the levels when you do this. So that's one function of the filter envelope. We can also quantize the movement, as you know. Right, so it kind of like cuts it in and out. Right, so that's quite useful. So you can tighten it up. You can also use like a band pass. So that's quite cool as well. As you can hear, right? Right, so loads of possibilities. Obviously, it's getting loud again, so I've got a limiter in the master, so it should be fine. Shouldn't be clipping. So that's the most obvious thing that you could do. The other thing that is not that apparent, which is pretty cool, is this. I'm just gonna go over here, and I've got this drum rack, and I've got just some kick drums. I'm just gonna put like a quick pattern. But that's that, right? That sort of movement, which could be cool, if you want to reinforce the beat at any given point. But that's not exactly what I want to do. What I want to do is I'm going to take a pad sound, and I'm just going to be a little bit cheeky here. I don't really know what I'm going for, so I'm going to go and find a pad of some sort just by going onto samples. I don't really care. It's just something that has got some movement for now. Anyway, just to demonstrate this. So I'm just going to put this in an audio track, and just going to put the pad right here. Right, I don't like the change in chords there, so just gonna maybe loop that and stretch it. Right, and one of the things that we could do is we can mute that channel where the kick drum is, and we can add an autofilter. And the autofilter has got a built-in sidechain, right? So with a built-in sidechain, what we could do is we can decide what to do with that, in a sense. So if I put the autofilter on the pad sound, what we can do, for example, is something like this. I can filter it, right? And then what I can do is I can open this sidechain and find that channel where I've got the kick drum, which is channel 3, right? And I can find it here. And what's going to happen is that these kick drums that I inputted there are going to open the filter on the pad, right? So that's kind of like quite cool because you can do some rhythmic movement. Let's put a little bit of reverb. Right, and it can be more apparent as well if you use like a band pass or even like a notch filter. Like that, right? So that's one thing that can be cool, and obviously we can change the pattern and see what happens. We can add maybe like a snare, and that will also trigger it. It's a bit quiet, that snare, I think, on this. I'm just gonna, you see that it's gonna put that to 0. Maybe that's a bit too loud actually. Just bring that to -6 for now. So that can be quite cool, right? And we can just play around with it and, you know, see what happens. I quite like that. It's not too bad. I mean, it's a bit, yeah, it's cool. It's all right. It's I think the pad sound doesn't sound quite interesting to my ears. But hey, you know, you can always do stuff with it. You can add reverb and so on and so forth. Yeah, maybe transpose it. No, maybe transposing it up might be better. Actually, if I use beats modes maybe, and I preserve the transients and set that to 1/4. Single shot. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. That's actually right. I could work with that. I could start writing a tune, right? Let me just take the time. I always try to make these videos short, but somehow I end up sort of like making them a little bit longer. I hope that's all right. The other thing that is really useful is this. I'm just going to use Operator, and I'll do the quickest patch in the world. Well, not the quickest in the world, but something that's going to be quite quick. So I just want that. I'm going to do the typical sort of warble just by using one modulator, and just make that a little bit slower, and maybe make that 2, right? And maybe just change the octave, maybe a little bit. There you go, right? So that sounds all right. Just going to bring the volume up, right? And I can have that. I'm just going to cut the pad for now. And I'll show you this very quickly. And I've got all the bass sounds. I'm just going to start with that one and add a little bit of reverb. I do like a little bit of reverb on bass sometimes, just to give that sort of niceness, top end sort of thing, even though the bass doesn't actually have any top end really, but hey, it just adds a little bit of ambience, right? So let's have a listen to that. Right, so I can stop that now, and yeah, so we can have that. So imagine now that I just got like a really sabby sort of sound, which is really basic, and in that one, on that bass, what I would probably do sometimes, normally what I do is I make it a little bit more complex. I might just go over to the carrier and just increase the release a little bit so it lasts longer, and the same thing for that. And maybe I'll just add a few extra harmonics just to make it so it's not just sine. So let me just move the start point of that note from at that point. There we go. Let me see if that works a little bit better. Right, and what I can have now is I can just go over here and say, okay, I want like a sound. So I'm gonna just play those 2 notes add a little bit of, there you go, a little bit of beating, it's always nice. And maybe add a little bit of, I don't know, erosion, just to make it a little bit noisier. There you go. So for now, I don't know. I'm just gonna play this, and you'll see what I mean. There you go. So there's no counting for some reason, so I'll just have to go with it. Let me just turn that on. Right, so I just want that note. It's like a really long note, right? We realized that I had my portal recorder on batteries, and the batteries ran out. Great. So yeah, anyway, so my apologies for that, guys. But anyway, like if you see here, I've got this sustain note. Now, of course, I can do whatever I feel like doing. I can do like a pitch drop sort of sound. Maybe a little bit longer. Not so deep. Maybe just bring that down. So yeah, you're only going to be able to hear that if you're using headphones or if you got good monitoring speakers. But what I wanted to do is this. Look, if you see, I've got the bass sound. That's that. So generally what I tend to do, because I'm lazy like that, I tend to do this thing which is sidechaining the one bass to the other, just to make space. So the technique is like this, and it's a secret, which is no longer a secret anyway, because I'm sharing it. But what you do is you take the input from channel 7, right? So sidechain it. Use a high pass filter, which is what I'm using here. Use the envelope. And what happened is every time I hit that bass line, is going to cut the sound of operator 8. So you see what I mean. Right, so I can make that a little bit stronger. Right, and I don't know about that sound. I'm just going to replace it just very quickly. Maybe that one. No. Yeah, that's a little bit more interesting. So let me just bring that down and let's have a listen. There you go. Right, so we got that now. And what's happening every time that bass plays, it mutes the other one. It's just a lot easier. And obviously I can keep doing things. I can add another bass that talks back, right? I can say, and this would be quick. So I can add another bass that talks back and then take it from there. I don't know. I've got maybe that one. I don't know if that's going to sound any good. I just don't know my basses by heart. Right, so maybe that. Alright, so, and I can do the same thing. I can say, okay, so let's kill this sound whenever operator 9 comes in. So check this out. Right, so maybe I can use that at the beginning of the phrase. So something like that, it just plays that note. And yeah, maybe just takes longer. So it's a whole bar or something. Yeah, so anyway, so that's a technique. And obviously that's too long. I probably will just do like a quick. Yeah, I might just change the sound. But anyway, you get it at the end. All right. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave some comments if you like. And yeah, look forward to making another video. I'll make it more frequently as I go along. And yeah, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, guys.